Hey guys, I'm back to another video, and today we'll be discussing about the very first topic of the physics of first year, that is the introduction to the physics, right? So first of all, as you are known, uh, the physics is a science, right? All there are various branches of science like chemistry, biophysics, math. So physics is also a science. So for that purpose, to understand the definition or what physics is, first of all, let's consider where it is from, derived from the science, from where its origin came from the science, right? So I do write here science, and then I'm writing here physical science. Physical science. And here I'm writing biological science, right? So from here I do want to say is that science, right? Science is divided into two main branches. Overall, the science is divided into two main branches. The one is the physical science, the other is the biological science, right? So what is physical science? Physical science uh, study study of study of non-living non-living matter, right? And if we talk about biological science, so biological science is something that deals with the study of living things. Okay, that is, don't consider that it is biology, because biology is something that is going totally into the living things. The science is basically divided into two larger branches, right? Physical and biological, the living and non-living, even though there are interaction between them in other various parts, but you know, majorly they are divided into physical and biological science, the one with non-living and one with the living. And don't consider that only this is don't consider that this is the biological science is totally about the biology, that isn't. And the physical science is all about physics, that isn't. They're involving two major sections of the science, the living and non-living, right? So we can say that the physics, right? Physics is from, wait a minute, yes, physical science. Physics is derived from the physical science. Physics, right? Here we have came into physics. So here you can see that the physical sciences made us come to the physics, or in others, let's go into the physics, right? From here we have been cleared that physics is a branch of physical science. That is the very first point, right? Physics is a branch of physical science that uh, deals with uh, properties of matter, properties of matter along with its interaction with energy, right? Physics is a branch of physical science that deals with the properties of the matter along with its interaction with the energy, right? That is, you can distinguish between chemistry and physics in the way that chemistry is something that deals with the uh, the composition properties of matter. Simply that deals with that. I've also made a video that you can check it out uh, from a channel. And what is physics? Physics is something that deals with the properties of the matter, right, along with the interaction with energy. So physics is something that includes energy, that has something important or in relation with the energy, right? So in other words, we can also say that physics is the study of the properties of matter and energy and their mutual interaction, right? That was very simple. The basics of physics, what physics is. And physics is really very old. It has been found that physics is really really old, and even though we are not known that what physics is, but we were even using physics. So that is all just let me give some examples. Cavemen, right? We have example, cavemen were there, who the people who lived in to the uh, caves in the old times. So what they did was that they produced fire by rubbing the stones. uh, Produce fire by rubbing stones. So that was physics. Even though the people didn't knew what physics is, but they were, even though uh, that it was being used by the human logics. So that is all as old as that. Then comes that there I'm showing you, how physics old is and from how much time it is being used. And and the second is the Chinese. About the Chinese, how Chinese used physics is in the way that uh, they were the first time that they made paper, right? They were the one who made paper. And that was something, that paper is quite old invention, and how useful it is. Even though you are students, you can understand it important very clearly. So that is how physics is as old as that. uh, Egyptians, right? Egyptians were also involved in using physics from the old times, as they did checked the flood level uh, of what? River Nile, right? Egyptians, you know even though there were not that much accurate or prestigious units on that time, like we are having today, but they just have made their imaginary units, and they were just using the logics, and they have just used, we can say that they have just used the physics, and they have just checked the flood level. They consider a specific point that this is the, as that is the level of water increasing, that is determining how the flood level is increasing, right? So from here it is also clear. Moving forward, there were Euphrates, right? Euphrates and Tigris, right? Euphrates, what they did was that they started using calendar and were aware of geometry. Calendar, and even though we cannot say that again that physics is being advanced day by day, and more accurate forms are being invented or discovered day by day of physics, but in the very beginning they just use their logics and make their own concepts, right? So what they did, they may be having, they have made some sort of calendar. uh, so the calendar maybe wouldn't be like that we are having today. They are having a month system and the day system. Maybe that would be something different. Maybe their calendar would be equal to, we are having one day and they will be having 2 days. It can be anything, but the concept from drive from that much old. And even though the chemistry is the same, right? Geometry, they were also using shapes, and they just started using shape, understanding the shapes. So that was also as old, and that is coming under the physics as well. Next is the a very personal, you can relate, that is from the sin, right? Or you can say the people of the Indus Valley people, right? So Indus Valley people, how they were using physics from the old time. So they just were the pioneers of the decimal system. So that decimal system is, we are using it till today, and how important it is, we are known about that. And that is was such a great invention by the Indus Valley people. And that is all about physics. They just used their mind and just made the concept of decimal. They just thought the numbers in, what we would call the numbers that are between 1 and 2. They just invented that thing. right? So Greeks have a great role in this old, making the old concept of the physics. Even though we are having the further, physics divided into two parts, as there were old concept and new concept of physics, so we are having the portions of physics further divided, modern physics and classical physics. We will be talking about that later in the next video, hopefully. So now, Greeks had a great role in, right? Greeks had, there are a lot of Greek scientists who have contributed, right? So the main that was first discovered in a book is Archimedes, right? Archimedes. Archimedes is the one who uh, gave his principles, right? Archimedes principle, you have heard about that, right? Archimedes principle. Archimedes were the one who, Archimedes principle he given, and apart from that, he also was made the inventions of lever and screw. These are the simple machines that he made. Even though that may the working may be, different, but you can, just consider that that was great invention or over that time. Even apart from that, the Greek inventors are also, we are having other Greek inventors. We need to just memorize the names a bit. So Pythagoras was a Greek scientist. uh, Galen Galen was a Greek scientist. Plotny, right? PTLE, right? Plotny, wait a minute, right? Plotny and others. The Greek scientist has made a lot. Like the Pythagoras, what Pythagoras did was that he made the Pythagoras theorem. We are still, using it today, and I remember that we have used in the metric grade as well. So these were the old concept, even they are being used today, and that is how physics is, being used, and how importance it is having, it is making to our lives. There were also some global contributors mentioned in our books, so let me go into that. So global contributors, right? Global contributors, and they were the global contributors who made something big, right? So what were the two main global contributors are listed in our book, right? Uh, the one is the Galileo, right? We are all heard about of that name, right? Galileo, right? Uh, what he did was that he had given the laws of the motion under the constant acceleration. Under constant acceleration, right? Laws of motion under constant acceleration. So that was of, you know diverging point of the physics, we can say. We have understood how the motion works, and that was, even though, as I said before, there are new concepts built every day, but the basics have a, we just came to know about existing of motion by the basics. So that is how important is it to to discuss about them. Then we have the Johann Kepler, right? What he did was that he was a contemporary of Galileo. That means that he was, he was the scientist of that time, of the same time of the Galileo. He was the, can say, Hamra of Galileo. uh, what he did was that he gave his own laws about the planetary motion, the, orbiting of the uh, astronomical bodies and something like that. That again, he has given the basics, and he's having its importance. It is having importance, right? What he did, he gave Kepler law of planetary motion, right? That was the global contributors of the physics, and hopefully we are ending up here as a video. Hey guys, I'm back to another video, and today we'll be discussing about the very first topic of the physics of first year, that is the introduction to the physics, right? So first of all, as you are known, uh, the physics is a science, right? All there are various branches of science like chemistry, bio, physics, math. So physics is also a science. So for that purpose, to understand the definition or